Brady. May we shall continue with our carrier project. Right, okay, here we go. I actually have done some planning for this one. I probably should enter the core first. Like, I've actually done a little bit of planning. I thought ahead, actually, instead of, this. So, that would also mean that I need to adjust the design a little bit here. My brain. Enlarge this so you guys can hopefully see a little better. I hope. Right. So while I was gone, I actually made the decision to make this reactor more than one deck tall. More than two decks, actually. So that would mean I need to get rid of these conduits. And I'm thinking I'm going to have some individual chambers within compartments within the hull in order to get this the way I want it to be. Because if I want to do it the way I want to, then it's going to be a need to at least be 4 to 5 decks tall or more. But if I want a decently protected reactor, I'll need to do that. Ta-da! I have spoken. Reset my brush here. Right. Let's do it! Let's do it. What I also want to do is sort of have something neat going on here, but we'll see about. We shall see. What I'd really like to do for the. We'll see. Uh, Well, right now, yeah, I'm gonna just build hull for now. Expand on that so I can get some of the design going. Is this too close? Yeah. I'll have to remove the stabilizers for now. Ah! You know what the hell? I'm 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 gonna make this long enough, and then for the reactor, and then I'll start branching off once I have the general design in my going here. So I've already got the idea of how I want this to look in my head. I just need to get the work done. Let's go ahead and... Oh, wrong brush. I need the... Why? Nope, still the wrong brush. I need the... I think this one? Yes, yes it is. Yes, no, not the wrong button. There we go. That's... Okay, good. Now I can start actually planning out my design here. Smart thing to do would be making this the same size as the reactor chamber, or the reactor core, I mean. That'll just make things a whole lot more efficient in terms of power distribution and consumption. Nice thing about stabilizers is they don't really need to be touching, but for efficiency's sake, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Oops. I done goofed. Oh, efficiency is 100%. Look at that. All right, then. Yeah, but I'm going to place a few more. Just ensure this stabilization is good. There, that should do it. What does that mean? Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Right now, let's get this design moving forward. Oh, how big is this right now? Oh, where's my ship information? I don't remember where that is. Oh well. Right. I at least want to be able to have my stabilizers and reactor stable as well as armored up so that they're tough. It's tough enough to take a few hits before systems start failing. Back when they implemented this armor thickness system, I really struggled with that. Okay. I swear there was a mass tab. There at one point there was a mass tab. I swear. Oh well. Well, for now, I need to. Whoop. Oh, there it is. Stats. All right, there we go. Length is 272 meters. I would like that to be a little longer. At least 300. There we go. Now I'm just going to remove that, bring that down a few meters, which means there. Full length is now 302 meters. Each block is a meter. Right, now the question becomes, which design do I go with? It's like, yes, of course. I'm thinking I'll start with the bottom first, below the reactor, because I'm going to need at least a few. I'm going to need a hanger on the belly, and then I'll go with from the design from there. But first, I like me a fork. The bow of the ship should be a fork. I like me fork designs. Fork designs. If I'm making anything bigger than a freighter, then or a frigate, then I like putting forks. Let's see. Let's make that about. There, that should be enough space. We'll just bring that back down to 2 blocks, and then just stop for a minute thinking how I want to do the hangar doors. Not sure how. I would like to use the rails sort of like as a active door instead of, using the the doors that you actually use for doors. I'd much rather be able to use the hull as a door, but I've been juggling with that idea for a bit, and I have no idea how to implement it. That would probably some testing would need to be done, but still, I can dream. Oh wait, let's add another, just so I can get this fork section done a little faster and get the general design. Invoke the general design I have in my head. Ah. You know, it would be really nice. Can I, if I could just flip my brush around? Instead of having to build a head. Hmm. Ooh, maybe. I'll save that for the next one. For the battleship of the group. Okay. I'm gonna widen my brush. Not that wide. This wide. There we go. Alright, I'll round that off with a few other blocks once I get an opportunity to make this a little prettier. But for now, I'm just getting that general design going that I'm going for. Um. Okay, let's. I actually. Okay, now that the fork is basically done, I'm gonna move on. Is Ooh, this is actually coming together quite nicely. I'm not even done, and I already I'm liking where it's going. Like it a lot so far. Ooh, but I would really like to do. Oh, genius! I have an idea. I am going to make the fork area as somewhat of a hangar bay entrance. That's what I'm thinking. Because then I can take uh, the rails and make it so that the below the fork section, the main fork section, is the entrance to the hangar bay. Because I want to start with the hangar, so I'm going to start with that. Ooh! There we go. All right, now I'm going to remove this little placeholder here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now then, let's go ahead and let's okay. Well, since this is the general going to be the general shape, let's go ahead and start rounding it off of the belly, or if you prefer, ventral, as the so you want to be technical about it, or belly, ventral side, dorsal, that kind of terminology if you want to use it. All right, I need to fix my brush. There we go. Oh, wrong brush. There we go. Okay. Oh, well, that's not big enough for the ships that are going to be launched and... Ooh, yeah, I think I'm going to have them launch from the rear. That way I can just fly into them to have them dock. Assuming I choose to do that. Alright, I need to turn off that. Right here. Hmm. There we go, that's better. Actually, I'm gonna undo that. Ah, damn it. Pardon my French. Okay. Now, it's big enough for a player to fly in with a fairly decent sized ship, within reason, of course. Now then, I'm gonna get the general size done. Why not? So now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably going to need to expand the hangars. Like, here, let's do this. Let's. Nope. This one. Okay, there we go. It's a little large, but oh well. For the smaller vessels. Whoop. So, hanger mouth. Ta-da. Move over here. Boom. For slightly larger vessels. There, those spots will be for the player vessels if they choose to dock them here. As for the rest, I'll continue onward. So that would mean, yeah, okay. Get my original brush back. There, a little bigger, just a little bit. All right, now I'm getting ahead of myself in my brain. I'm already thinking about what kind of ships I'm going to be docking here, even though it's not even halfway done yet. We're still working on the skeleton of this thing. Ooh. I had a really good design decision there. Because if I can continue with this fork design, I can probably make it sort of like as a forward bridge style, like I don't know, like a forward bridge section. Have all the vitals in the rear, as well as a hangar underneath the bridge. Because do like a observation tower towards the rear of the vessel, or you know, maybe we'll see. That's something I'll wanna. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we are getting the general. There we go. Now we've got the general shape here going. Well, at least we've got the exact length I wanted. The bare minimum. Okay, now the question becomes, how many decks and what am I going to do about the hangar situation? Had to respond to the misses. There we go. She's a worrier. You're really on the... Why are you over there, man? How long am I going to make it, right? Is that what you're asking me? I can't see your whole... Well, oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, I've already reached the length that I wanted to reach for this design because I'm thinking, right, the front is going to be sort of like the... I suppose this is more going to be more like of a javelin style vessel, where all the internals are sort of like... You'll see. Because I'm. It's going to be a little different from this one. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a few different types of ships. Maybe more fighters, because I do want some. Because when I deploy carriers, I like to swarm. I usually like to swarm my opponents with cannon fodder, as it were, and then while they're occupied dealing with the cannon fodder, just swoop in and go for the kill, which is which basically just means that I like to swarm my enemies with smaller ships that are cheap to produce. Eh, yeah, pretty much. All right. Okay. Now that now have it have the thought of how I want this in my head, but it's going to take a bit to get it done. All right. I really hate how my chat box cuts off some of the chats. Makes it difficult to respond. Okay. Let's... I really wish I could flip my tool brush around because it would make things a million times easier, depending with some of the building. Okay. I think I'm going to start working my way back to the from the front to the back now. So that would mean this one. Yep. Okay. Oh, wrong block. You don't need slanted blocks. All right. So normally when I'm building, I usually use the slanted blocks and all the to round off my builds, but I think I'm gonna try something different with this one, just to make it look. Because normally I do like sleek builds, but I want to try something new. Just my only issue is that I want it to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist at heart. Um, uh, but there was one point where I had a ship that I was really proud of. Um, before they implemented this current reactor system. Before it was just like you filled everything in with power and shields, and then you're good to go. I had it, but um, the yeah, I went up against someone with that ship because it was closer to a freighter type vessel, and I went with a blue, dark gray, and gray basic hull. And basically, it was yeah, and basically, I went up against some guy in the battleship, thinking like, "Oh, hey, I did a great job with my uh little ship. I could go toe to toe with somebody's battleship because they had just introduced the uh hull thickness level." It was probably about. It was like 150 meters long. It was like 40 meters length. So the whole thing was just like a big. It was basically just me testing out the armor system, but I was really proud of it at the time. Like I still kind of am proud of that one, but it wasn't anything to sneeze at, to be honest, compared to the what I've seen other people do. Depends on where you shot at it. With the if you shot at it from in the reactor section, it was probably about 5 blocks thick, which is more than enough to absorb a good hit. But it was like a really I'd have if I could probably do I probably should revive the design. Is that even though like I wouldn't be as effective anymore because of the current reactor system, but it was before they at the time it was pretty good, especially since all the vital systems were all packed into thick armor plates. Yeah, unfortunately, I did lose that ship in the fight with that I got into with it. But the only reason that was is that I was like, "Hey, I'll do a PvP with you," and I was like, not realizing that this guy had like a pretty sure the guy was trolling, and yeah, I didn't realize that I bit off more than I can chew until I was like shredded to pieces. No, this was before the normal reactor core was. This reactor core was put into place back before there were shield rechargers and power rechargers. Yeah, for sure. They definitely do. Well, depends on which one, because I'm sure those NPC ships are due for a remodel. Because they're using, well, unless we're talking pirate ships, in which those guys just steal your builds. With the faction ships, I suppose. Though all the other factions were put into place before the after the pirates, so it makes sense that there's a little inconsistencies, at least a few. But that also means if you go up against like any of the other factions in the game, then you probably their your opposition is probably pretty broken, given the because I know for a fact there's been buffs and nerfs and all the other stuff while I've been during my hiatus on this game. Most of it's been other stuff that aren't isn't huge, but they're there. And some of it's just I'm pretty sure most of the debuffs were on the NPC side though, for the other factions. I did not know that. Though, to be fair, I've reached out diplomatically way back when and then didn't even get a response back from the AI, so there's that. Or NPCs, if you want to. I'm sure that at some point someone will come along and be like, "Hey, let's make this a thing." Like I hope, like, and like they're still updating the game, so I imagine that someone will come along, someone will update will come along, make things a little bit more immersive. Yeah, those need to come along, but we'll see about the Galaxy up because, like, I know they're still testing the universe update and the pre-release or whatever, or alpha or whatever their tab there in the that's in the launcher. I just haven't, you know, tried it yet. Like, supposedly it's supposed to be, groundbreaking because I've seen updates for it on Steam. To be perfectly honest, I like if we're doing talking nebulas, I want like Star Trek level nebulas, like not just like simple gas giants. I want something that like the only way you'll be able to get through is like with a certain module or like a certain level of reactor. What different approach would you take? Because I would very much like a. I'd prefer a nebula to be more like an obstacle that you have to overcome, or not just like a simple gas giant, just something you could like explore or maybe even hide a simple deadly base in it. Yeah, they have to be a few sectors. I'd say they have to be a few sectors at least. Because like one sector is like an entire star system, so they have to be larger than that, like two, three sectors at most. Because yeah, they'll need to implement that because like they'll have to. Well, they have to implement that before they do with the lighting before they do it with any gas. Though if they're gonna do that, they'll have to make the some of the gases poisonous for the player. Because like we have a space helmet, but we don't need it. It's like it's mainly there just for aesthetics. But it would be really cool to actually have to need it depending on the environment. Because I've always thought it was neat that it's there, because it just makes you think that there's more there that should be there, but hasn't been added yet, which is a cool thought, but needs implementation. All right, I think it's time to start getting these decks constructed, because now that that's done, more or less, I have a general. Yeah, very true. Because like there are, because like I do like that you like if you get hurt in space, like you can go and you can actually heal your injuries. Like if you have a health pack or like a med pack inside your vessel, you can actually heal yourself with it. But I really would like more reasons to use the health pack. For sure. There are definitely some issues with the game, but the game's still somewhat in development, so. And to be fair, like a little while back, they were trying to work on the game, and then one of the people left and took a bunch of money with them, so. Which I'm sure delayed the development of this game quite a bit. I mean, I get it. Like, you're gonna you're gonna leave, you're done, you give up, but don't take the money with you. Come on. Other people want to play it more than you do. You know, I don't know the whole details, but I do know that they stole, which shouldn't be. They stole the money. Because, like, they were pooling the money to. Yeah, they were working hard on this game for sure. And the only reason it's as got stuck for a little bit is because they were still trying to scrounge up the money to get this continue to work on it. Cause like they're very, as far as I can tell, they're pretty passionate about this game. It's just there was a little bit there that they didn't have the money to keep develop it, so they were like they put it on Steam. I think that's the only real way you can support it at the moment is buying it on Steam, but you can still. I think if you go to their official website, you can also download it there as well and pay for it. But I would need to double check that. They actually announced that. Uh, they actually announced it on their official website at one point. They didn't name names, but they did say that one of their guys stole the money from their company and on their way out, and they had to, which hurt their development of the game. Yeah, pretty much. Well, hopefully the more they do, the yeah, for sure. I would very much like to try and do that. It's like if you can build a hidden station, it'd be like the perfect spot. Well, you can't really hide a station, but well, unless you haven't been to a sector, which yeah, that'd be a neat sort of trick. Oh, but that would even make mines even hard. That would be even make the mining places even more effective or dangerous, depending on which side you're on. Is if you have explosive mines in a nebula, then that would be a disaster for whoever did, poor fool who decided to come in and make their territory your territory their territory. Yeah, I wouldn't mind being able, because annexing a sector of space would be a lot easier too, especially with a nebula. If you want the nebula, then mine the entrance to the nebula and make it too dangerous to go in. Free materials. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. Yeah, I'm not sure how they would want to do that though. So there is one star that I want to see them put in, and that's a pulsar. As there are some, because like there are, if your shields are calibrated the right way with I think it's the defense block, you basically can go inside a station. All right, here we go. I was after I made yesterday's video, I was thinking it would be a really good uh, way to sort of like protect your ship from missiles, doing that uh, type of thing with your ship. Is like if we're thinking about it in terms of a honeycomb, it's a really good defense against missiles. Not only it cool and functional. Righty, righty. Depends on whose station it is, because if it's a opponent station, then maybe. But if it's on an abandoned station that costs money to build, or to claim, yeah, for sure. Because if you do that, if you honeycomb your hull, because the missiles in this game, they're not like they kind of, if I recall, they ignore the shields and makes it, if I recall correctly, I may be remembering wrong, but like the damage they do is, they, depending on your level of, well, I think it's irrelevant, but all right. Well, first off, I need to get these chambers going here, which means let's. I'm thinking that I'm going to start. Here's what I'm going to do. Do I have space? Yes, I do. Okay. So we'll take. Where to go? I'm on resources, not systems. Here we go. Let's take our... Where is it? Here it is. Stealth chamber. And reactor conduit. Boom. And we'll turn this off for now. Well, I'm pretty sure if a station gets attacked, the faction is notified. If you're attacking a player station, then the faction gets notified, and they can go in and make you regret your decisions. I found that out the hard way. I regretted my decision hardcore. I'm like, oh well, yeah, I'm dead. It's like that. Oh, what is that? Oh. There we go. Oh, it was on the server. I back when they were really active. I bought a cutting torch from the merchant at the starting shop, and then I was like, "Ooh, this is a fine station." Just stumbling across somebody's build, and I'm like, "I think I'll make it mine." Thinking, not realizing that as soon as I cut through, they get it. So I start cutting through one of the doors, thinking that I can claim this ship as soon as I walk in and cut. So I cut through the blast door with the cutting tool. I make my way all the way to and I'm getting ready to claim the ship, and my ship's hanging out outside of the station. So that I found. Oh yeah. I don't. As far as I know, that's probably the only one that's really still active, isn't it? 'Cause, like, the Wolf server is the one that I would used to play on. At least I think that's what it's called. But I went. I found the station. I hopped in. I look out a station's viewport, and there's a fleet of like 5 small vessels bearing down on my ship. I'm like, oh good, I'm dead. And eventually somebody comes into the station and shoots me dead with their pistol. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. Yeah, it might have changed now, but it was a really big one. I'm sure it's gone by now. It was like it had Wolf in the name though. I'd started a few factions on that server, and I was like, of the name of like Red Moon or Warwolf or whatever, just because they sounded cool. Because like Red Moon, Blood, or like Warwolf, like just invoke the image of a pack of, you know, wolves with large teeth that'll shred you dead. But I never really got very far in the servers. Mostly because I didn't have the time to like sit down at a desk. I only had like an hour at the time, and because I was still with my parents and I was still pretty young, and that's lame. Like I liked this game a lot, but I didn't have the time to play it. Like not any significant amount of time at least. Oh, whoops, I went a little big. That would be an interesting fight, to be honest. Like I've never had enough. Like when I initially started playing, I was very much a solo guy. Like there's a few guys that I played with, but they weren't like I, you know, friends, if you know what I mean. They're just some guys that I like joined up with, and I'm like, hey, you want to join us or join my faction? And I was like, sure, why not? Not doing anything, and I was like, okay, sound good to me. More numbers, the better. But unfortunately, that never really went anywhere significant. Though I'm hoping, like, once we get big enough here, we can have our own server. 'Cause that's what I want eventually with this channel, is just to be able to, like, if I get enough subscribers and we get big enough here, then enough support, then I wanna pay you guys back by with my own server. Oh, you mean like, oh, that would be a good sort of like, that would probably be better if it was like a tourney style bracket, like if a community style event. That's what I think that would really work. At least that's my thought. Because like if there's a bracket system and like, because like if somebody dies during the fight, and like the med packs are all destroyed, and there's one guy flying, one guy patching things up, and one guy shooting with turrets and stuff, then, you know, as the ship falls apart, then, you know, it would make things exceedingly difficult as the fight goes on. So I'm thinking that would be a good, I'm thinking that would be a good event style thing if the channel gets big enough. At least that's what I'm thinking. Well, exactly, because that's what I'm thinking. If the channel gets big enough, and we want sort of like a setup that way, then we could have that attorney style sort of combat. And if like everyone dies, then the other team gets the victory. That simple, but it makes sense. Because multiple crew members, if everyone dies, then the ship goes down. Easy win. That's always sounded really neat to me, to be honest. It's sort of like a contest bracket style, sort of like a server event, assuming any people want to compete. Which I'm sure there would be some people who would want to compete, because like, who doesn't like to win? Whether it's bragging rights or a prize, it's like, who doesn't like to win? Like, a prize is just the icing on top of the cake. Exactly. And like, exactly, because like because what I'm thinking is if it's a contest, then you'd have to bring multiple ships. But if you lose, then you have extra ships that you could use for other things. Like, who knows? But it'd just be a fun thing to do, I think. Like, and like if we really wanted to, we could even make it like sort of like a maybe, maybe like yeah, there's plenty of ideas out there we could definitely try, but oh come on. Oh, I feel like that would have to be like I feel like if we were doing like one person and I feel like if they were like we were to do something like that, the attack like have sort of like a crew based uh contest bracket style event, then I feel like if we were to do that, we would need like some rules in place of how many like entities that they need to have, or like if they want to have an AI drone as a sort of like a distraction, we'd have to have like a rule of like one or two at max or minimum or something like that. But that would be fun, I think. Ew, that tasted weird. Okay. Oof. Wait. No! Hey, where's stealth strength 3? Perfecto! Right in front of my face. Indeed. Or will be our stealth carrier. Well, part of it's so that nothing gets, mismatched or misplaced. Also, I do plan to wall this off with some hole so that it's not, you know, stuck. I want to protect the chambers as well as the reactor. That's the main thing. And plus, I want to be able to walk through these, through the areas, because like the reactor chambers are kind of like a server room. That's kind of what I'm going for. Is the reactor chambers are servers, kind of, because they're responsible for ship functions. So why not make them a little neat? Stealth mode engaged. All right, there we go. Stealth is on the menu. All right, now that I've got that chamber done, I feel like it can at least at least wall it off in terms of. Where's my brush? I need the brush. Right there. Exactly. Well, I probably, once I get this walled off here, I probably should consider starting on other sections. For we're still talking about StarMade here? Oh, you're me. Oh no, yeah, you are. Okay. Yeah, that would be. Though they still need to work out some of the issues. Yeah, they definitely need to. Because like I feel like if they need to add a few things before they can do that, but for sure that would make things a little rather intriguing to play this game, a little bit more intriguing to play for sure. Because then there's actually some those though if that's the way they want it to do it, then they would need to make it so that well, I don't mind the eating and drinking. Because like it's not right now. Because like there's no animals or anything you'd have to go and find, or food you can buy from the shops. But I do feel like for the survival aspect, there does need to be a bit more survival. It's like, but yeah, you make some good points. There's definitely some room for improvement, but like for what there is compared to the issues they've gone through, I'd say they've been just to get this game where it is. Like I'd say it's a good so far. Okay. I hate unused space. So it's gonna be a challenge for me to get this ship as large as this to be the way I want it. Though, partly the reason why I hate unused space is probably because of the way the game used to be. It's like unused space is just performance on the table. At least that's the way it was back in the day. Back in my day, we filled up the whole thing. Alright, let's do this. Excuse me. I perfectly honest wouldn't mind other dimensions in the game. Because, like, if we're talking alternate dimensions and other stuff, that's pretty sci-fi. That's kind of it's like, I don't know, maybe. I wouldn't mind, like, a wormhole that takes you to another version of your universe or something. I don't know. Something neat and unexpected. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Because the more that kind of stuff is there, the more, um, the better. Because like we've already got sort of have like space creatures because we've got the space spider and the old classic um abandoned stations. But once you claim it, the spiders just disappear. Though we do need more stuff like that in this game, for sure. It's like there's plenty of elements that they could add that they really should add. Oh wait, dagnabbit. Fair enough. Like though when I was referring to alternate dimensions, I was thinking of Minecraft and the Nether and the End, thinking they could probably do something similar, but I thought maybe not because that's a totally different can of worms. Yeah. Yeah, I do like the mechanics of this game though, for what's here. It's like, if you think about it, we enter the ship core, which means we'd have to put, like, if you want to convert that into lore, we'd have to make physical contact with the core in order to enter it, which means we'd have to probably be augmented. In some way or form. Maybe. Maybe. Ultimately, I don't mind what they do as long as it's enjoyable for everyone. It's like, as long as it doesn't take away from what's already here. It's like, as long as it's not too far off, it doesn't feel like a completely different game, then it should be good. Exactly. Everything, all the foundations here, as long as they don't like mess it up or use like make a huge change and screw everything up, then it should be fine. Though when you make a big change to a game like this, there's always bugs, so that may or may not be there. Yeah, there was a point where I was jumping through wormholes back when they were first implemented, and I died. Which I found out later was a game-breaking bug. Charge! Nope. Yes. Oh, I have great ideas. Fabulous. We're about at the 2 hour mark here. Because usually when I call it quits. Figured I'd let you guys know. Yeah, okay. You better not be on the oven, cat. Got my eye on you, Missy. Maybe. Like, assuming you actually had to craft your own blocks and fly into space, that would be definitely a unique experience. Oops. Excuse me. Fun times, fun times. Maybe. Though, if it were my starting station, I'd probably keep it. Build it up. Build it, claim it, make it mine. Make it a pain in the ass for anyone else to claim. Repulsor cannons too, yes. I would definitely put those on. If I really wanted to piss someone off, I'd just add repulsor beams onto the turrets and stuff and just push them away and have other turrets just blast them out of the sky. Assuming that it would actually work. Who knows? They should, because if there's the tractor beam's still in the game, and there's a push beam. Oh wait, I think those have actually been rolled into one. So now they're just tractor beam block. Speaking of blocks, I probably should start implementing teleporters into my builds, because, you know, quick and easy way to get from entity to entity. I think so. They should. Like, I think there's like, I think the only reason to change how to change the settings on the tractor beam is just the same way you change the settings on the cannons or beams and stuff to toggle the focused fire or alternating fire or whatever else has that uh, option. Yeah. Hmm. Ooh, I had to Maybe. Maybe I'll do... no. Different chamber. Different door. Maybe. To be considered. Oops. I'll probably be back either later this weekend, or next week to be continue building on this. So, yeah. We will not be... We will definitely be back to continue here. And when I say we, I mean me. I will need to figure out how to decorate the corridors because I've never really had to do that. But I want to make them look neat, and if you neat instead of just a bland, boring hallway on a ship. Yep, see ya. We got a couple minutes before I end the stream here. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do while I keep those. I may as well start another chamber while I'm at it. Let's do a defense chamber. I've got a couple minutes before things end. Oh. Oh. That's unfortunate. Well, I guess I'll just stick with the stealth ship. Bummer. Well, either way, we've hit the 2-hour mark. And unfortunately, that's when I usually stop. So we'll be back. We'll be back later. Let's see, what's my schedule look like anyway? Why not? I'll stream Saturday. See you guys Saturday. And hopefully we'll be have a good time as a group together. Maybe. We'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream, and I hope to see you guys again Saturday.